What is up, friend and fellow anti-netter? What I'd like to talk about today, and by the way, I'm on a nice little drive to the office on a Friday at 10:10 a.m. Freaking fabulous. I've had a good week. It's an interesting one. And gosh, there's shit in the freaking back of my car rolling around, which is kind of annoying right now, so pardon that noise back there. And what I want to talk about today is the power of Carpods, okay? And what I'm doing right now is a Carpod, okay? A Carpod is a podcast that you record either when you're in the car or when you're on a walk, or really whenever. It's this kind of talking one-on-one, ranting type of podcast format where you try to teach your people lessons, principles, and share the behind the scenes of, what you do. And for me, like what I do is I run, an independent knowledge business in which, I spend my days reading, writing, thinking, creating, and making a hell of a living doing so, and also working with and impacting people that I love and enjoy. And, these Carpods are basically where I share my thoughts or things that I would, essentially that are valuable pieces of nuggets and tactics and things that, I want to share. And the benefit of doing a Carpod is that it's really easy to stay consistent and to do. I've seen in our community, in members.scottshepper.com, people thrive on this type of format, on Carpods. Like Stephanie Ann is one of them. I believe Tyson J. Hayes is another one that is going to be embarking on his own Carpod journey. And I think the best way to find your own voice is to do a 30-day Carpod challenge in which you publish and basically speak and create, 10-minute episodes about sharing your thoughts and finding your own voice. And I just recommend you try it, because a lot of people, they kind of like wait until they have the perfect idea to start publishing. And back in the day, maybe like 2 years ago, if you actually do some digging, you'll see that like I just started publishing one day, and I did it in the form of these podcasts. And I flip-flopped. I can't really talk or speak today. I'll admit it. Like I had a cigar last night, smoked the entire thing, so I'm kind of like, I can't fucking talk right now. I'm like taking deep breaths and trying to speak, and it's hard to talk when you have to take short, shallow breaths. Anyway, about 2 years ago, I started just publishing, and I went on a daily challenge of just publishing, and it's how I found my voice. It's how I found what I wanted to talk about. It's how I kind of stumbled upon Zettelkasten and started really getting passionate about it, and decided to turn that into the book. And if I hadn't just gone out and made a decision one day to start publishing, and you can choose either to publish like a blog post or an email or a tweet or a podcast, and I tried all of those different types of media. We have one anti-netter, the genius boy, Lil Anti-net, Nicholas Gassier, and he did a 30-day YouTube challenge, and one of his YouTube videos absolutely blew up. It resulted in a ton of traffic, and going into it, he didn't know what he wanted to talk about, but the video that blew up was a video about artificial intelligence and creating his own AI assistant. And it's basically blown up so much that it's like became very clear, oh wait, like this has resonated with a lot of people, I'm passionate about it. And so that's turned into his niche, that's turned into his focus. And which is why I want to share with you is I think the best way to do this and find your niche, find your focus, is to embark on your own 30-day publishing challenge. And, there's this, it's funny, I'm going to be probably doing something soon, but there's this Ship 30 for 30 group, and they basically, their whole format is a challenge wherein you write for 30 days straight. But their form of writing is I wouldn't even call it writing. I'd call it like information spamming. It's just about like writing in digital form and just blurbing out your thoughts and tweeting it out. So that's their form of writing, which it's funny is because like their form of writing has kind of been killed by artificial intelligence because it's not that thought-provoking type of writing. And what's interesting is like their platform that they used, their software platform for writing, has now been turned into like no surprise, an AI app for just like make it easy for AI to generate spammy, shitty content, which just goes to show it's like if you want to create content that just gets clicks and isn't that popular, then get ready. You're going to have the AI overlords take over your entire business and everything you do. Okay. Now, if you actually want to have and inject some personality into the content you create, like for instance, me just sharing the fact that I can't freaking breathe because I decided to smoke a cigar last night and, listen to a Dan Kennedy podcast with Brodus Maximus, my cat, at my feet as I rubbed his back, and also sipped on a nice tequila blanco and water, and hence the reason that I'm profoundly obtuse today and this morning, and I can't freaking breathe while I'm talking to you. Injecting that type of personality, which is what I just did right there, is something that actually will last and stand the test of time, because you're actually sharing your authentic truth and the stuff that goes behind the scenes. And that's something that will emerge like once you start publishing and taking on a 30-day challenge. And I think the best format, the best media to start with is the Carpod. Do exactly what I do. Basically pull out your phone, your iPhone, find the either the voice app, or I use another app. It's called like Motiv, M-O-T-I-V, and I don't think there's anything special about it. I just had it installed on my phone and started using it, and it's pretty easy to use. And just hit the record button, start talking, share your thoughts, share one thought, and that's the important part. Just focus on sharing one critical lesson and not confusing people with a ton of different lessons. Like my lesson today is just one thing. I want to invite you to embark on your own 30-day Carpod challenge. That's it. And, just rant and share your thoughts. Inject your personality into it. And you're going to be able to find your voice, find your authentic truth, and then also find a niche that you want to really hone in on and focus on. So that's it. That's my challenge to you. I invite you to embark on your own 30-day Carpod challenge. And the great irony is, I make a living as an independent writer. However, and it's counterintuitive and seemingly absurd as it may seem, if you want to make money as a writer, the one thing you should not do is write online. You should do Carpods and other forms of media and save your mind energy, your life energy, for your writing. You do not want to write. Like, there's one big guy, big publisher, and, he would probably go apeshit if he heard me say this advice, because he writes an email every single day. Like, that's his form of publishing. But the problem is that, that might work for him. He busts out a lot of content, and he, sits down at his computer to write it out. And personally, I think the reason that he's so successful and popular, and I like him, I like his stuff, but his writing, I find it's not that great. It's not that profound. It's clearly written very quickly, like his newsletter issues really quickly. Whereas the form of writing that I do and the practice that I advocate, personally, is sitting down, and I outlined this in issue number 4 of the Scott Shepherd letter. And, part of it is sitting down and deliberately, like writing out by hand in a certain method, a certain frequency, a certain sequence, writing out and creating your writing, because I think the quality will skyrocket. And because that type of writing requires so much mental energy, and by the way, it's worth it too, because the output will show as a result. The quality will be much higher than just sitting down and typing furiously on like in a whimsical, stream of consciousness way. So the important part is that if you do the way that I teach, the writing I teach, the deliberate way, the old way, the analog way, the best way, and if you decide to do that, you need to be very selective about how you invest and exert your other mental energy. And so for that reason, I do not recommend you practice, a daily writing practice, like such as emails or whatever, right? Essays, blog posts, whatever, as your form of output, as your form of content output. I think a better, more sustainable way to create content is these Carpods. So I invite you, try out the Carpods. Take your own 30-day Carpod challenge. And dude, there's a freaking guy like sitting in I'm in Orange County in this like office park area, very nice area. And like I'm like turning the corner and there's this dude with like big headphones that looks like he's meditating in the middle of the street listening to a podcast or something. Get the hell out of the way, man. Do that if you're in like the surf side town of Encinitas. Anyway, I'm pulling into the office right now, but I really do want to invite you and to do a 30-day Carpod challenge. That's all I want to say. Always remember to stay crispy, my friend. Peace.